Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the MFing based EDH podcast, your source for no cringe commander. And today, I am joined by my very sensual co-host, Dakota.
Hello, it is Dakota, and I am indeed very sensual.
But not in a gay way.
No, in a gay way.
Okay. And also with us is my wife in the other room.
Let's go!
What's up?
Hello.
Hi. Good job, babe.
She was featured as a spoiler at the end of our last episode.
For our 6 subscribers, so that they can know that I am not a liar and not a schizophrenic.
Hi, Melonhead.
It's not all in what's that? It's not just all in my fucking head. Yo, but we do actually have a guest though.
We do.
It is the long ball himself. Fucking Kodiak. Kodiak, what the fuck is up, my dude?
What is up, my dudes?
A wild Kodiak has entered the chat.
Yo, are we gonna get copyrighted by Nintendo?
Maybe.
Hey, I just realized something. I need to minimize this fucking thing. All right, everybody knows we're using fucking OBS.
We are professionals.
Yeah, as if. Looks like I'm not editing the start of the video either. Yo, so we have kind of a cool little video we wanted to do today. This is going to be called The Strategy of Deck Building, I believe. What we want to do in this show today is we are going to take you and our friend, who's kind of new to Magic, kind of new, kind of not, through our strategies in building a deck from scratch. Now, we might not actually end up with a full built deck by the end of the video. Maybe we will, depending how fast we can go. But we're going to show you some of the tools we like to use and how we want to go about building EDH decks. So, Kodiak, do you want to tell us who our commander is and maybe give that guy a read if you have him pulled up on your phone?
I do.
Whip it.
So his name is Arcades the Strategist. He is a one colorless green, white, and blue. He has flying vigilance. Whenever a creature with defender enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. Each creature under your control with defender assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power and can attack as though it didn't have defender.
You know what's awesome about Arcades?
What's that?
Is you don't have to guess at what he wants you to do.
Yeah, he's not beating around the bush like Marchese says. Like, yeah, you can kind of do this, you can kind of do that. Arcades says, wall. And nobody builds walls better than me, believe me, and I do them cheap.
And Nicol Bolas is going to pay for it.
Nicol Bolas is going to pay for it. Yo, so let's go ahead, and we are on a website called Archidect. It is my favorite deck building site. Dakota has some mixed feelings. We also like
I love Archidect.
You love Archidect? I know that you've used a lot of different websites, though.
Archidect is my main, deck host thing. Like, when I build the deck, it's in Archidect.
Gotcha. But a lot of people like Tapped Out. A lot of the boomer generation of people doing EDH content really love Tapped Out. Nothing wrong with it either. It's a great website. I just prefer Archidect, so that's what we're going to teach you with today.
Archidect is so much more, up-to-date and, stylized and everything than Tapped Out. Tapped Out is very, very old school.
Yeah, for real. We would say sponsor us, Architect, but they know that we're assholes and they're not going to sponsor us. So let's go ahead and start. The first thing you want to do is when you're on the main page of Archidect, you're going to click New Deck right here in the center of the screen. What do you want to name it? Let's call it Kodiak Arcades. Am I retarded? Yeah, I am. Did I spell that correctly?
What's our commander's name again?
Arcades Nuts.
Arcades Nuts!
I got him! Arcades Nuts, boy. Yeah, and then for deck format, you're going to go ahead and pick Commander. Unless you enjoy taking it in the butt and play a different format. Oh no, I fucked it up. I done fucked it up. Gosh, darn it. Okay. Kodiak Arcades Nuts.
Fun fact about Kodiak
got him.
Is he has big nuts.
Yeah, we roommated in college. We know. In a non-gay way. And then you're going to go ahead and click Create Deck. Unless you don't want to make the video and make the deck visible to people besides you.
And one cool thing is, let's say you've built a bunch of decks and then you start brewing extra decks. What you can do when you make an account is you can make different folders and save your decks in certain places if you want to, which is a handy little neat feature with Archidect. Because like me, I have all the decks I've built in one folder and all the decks I want to build in another folder, so it's a nice even break.
Yeah, for real. That's really nice. Another nice thing is that Archidect is 100% free. You can hop on, and it's great on your phone. You can actually I don't know how exactly to do that, and we won't cover this in the video, but you can get the app on your phone from their website if you look them up on the mobile.
Yep.
It works great. So we're going to go ahead and create deck, and the first thing you're going to be greeted to is this screen. Now, if you had a deck list, you could text import, you could drag and drop that thing right there, do it that way. I'm not going to teach you that way. I'm going to teach you the add from search option. So first thing we want to do, we click that, and we come over here. Now, what we want to do first is we're going to click in Arcades.
And it automatically brings a drop down.
Yep.
So if you can't perfectly remember the card name,
yep.
you can still
Try to. It's really good about filling in mistakes, but try to spell it perfectly. Another thing, you'll go to, you see this button that says All Sets? If I click that, it's going to show all the printings of Arcades the Strategist. So M19, that's a M19. That's the list. That's
yep.
the list card, but you can tell by that symbol. Don't worry about it. But if there's a cheaper option here, like this is a $32 option, and you want it to more truthfully be recognized as the proper price for the card in your deck, so at the end of the deck building process you can see how much it costs.
Yep.
So we're going to go ahead and click right here to the plus button.
Now
For some reason, if you wanted to build but a bunch of lands, you'd click your lands and then click up and down, but we can't have more than one card in Commander, obviously.
Now, do you see how it's red? That's because Tyler done fucked up.
Now, I did not fuck up. We're just not to that step yet.
Oh, you and I do different things when setting the commander.
Oh, damn. Yeah, you can do it different ways. But now, let's say you wanted to add another card in here. Like, I know we're going to probably put Aegis Turtle.
Because it's a turtle.
It is a turtle, but it's a defender. Ooh, no, this one isn't a defender. What's the name of your turtle, Kodiak?
So the defender turtle is Riptide Turtle.
Riptide. So it's just a common from, like, Zendikar. Where is it? Is it not showing up? No, I'm actually have to try. I hate trying. Okay, Riptide Turtle. Great. It's actually from Theros. So we're going to click that. Now, you see how this is red? The deck has no commander right now. Now, if you're on your computer, you can drag and drop this into the commander slot. Or if you're on mobile, or you want to just be a hipster, I guess, you can click that little tab button and set it into a category. So now it's easy because we can just press Set Commander. Now Arcades the Strategist is the commander of this deck, and he is in his own pile to help us keep track of things.
The nice thing that Arcadeck does is it also recognizes your color's commander identity now.
Mm-hmm.
So now if you try to add like a red card,
like a lightning bolt. Let's go Arc Lightning. Yeah, so I'm going to try to add Arc Lightning. Well, no, it says, no, this is red. There's something wrong. This goes against the rules. You might want to reconsider. And if we make a mistake, we just minus that out and get it out of here. You can always save over here in the left corner or down in the bottom tabs if you're on mobile. Yep. So we're going to go ahead and do that right now.
If you're on mobile, I would recommend saving a lock.
Please.
Yes.
It sucks to get 70 cards deep and then all of a sudden it putters out. Yeah.
The only bad part about Arcadeck is they put cringe ads about the sex lives of college girls, which should be nothing unless they're married.
Understood. What? Oh, no, we don't want this ad either. Get out of here. Get them the hell out of here. Confiscate their coats. So, now, when we have a deck, we look at what the commander wants us to do. What reward does the commander want us to get? So, if we see this line that says, whenever a creature with defender enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. Cool. Now we have a card draw engine in the command zone. So, I want to fill this thing now with a bunch of defenders. Because Arcades says, whenever I drop a defender, it now cantrips, and you get another card back. That's freaking dope. But another thing, even though we're cantripping and getting those cards back from casting or bouncing defenders, his second line of text down here makes it so that they're a viable option to kill with. He's an actually really aggressive commander that can get out of hand very quickly. I have built an Arcades the Strategist deck before, and it slaps. So you picked a good one, Kodiak. So, Kodiak, I don't know how you end up building your list, but here's what we like to do. Me and Dakota have this concept going, and it's not like we really coined this. A lot of people talk about this, but the three most important parts of your deck, besides making it your own and making sure it's fun for you, is having the big three. That's your ramp, your card draw, and your removal. And I have found a balance that you want to start off with it being about 10 of each card, and then adjust from there as your meta sees fit, depending on what you see out in the wild. So, what would you like to start with, Kodiak? Ramp, card draw, or removal?
Let's go ahead and start with the ramp.
Ramp. Cool. So we are in Bant, which means we have access to green. So we actually have a lot of really good ramp options. So what I would like to do is find, usually I like 2 mana ramp spells, but if we're on a budget, we can do the Cultivate and Kodama's Reach. But there are better ways to find these if you don't know them off the top of your head. And I think Dakota's going to hit this if you're ready. So, Scryfall. I guess it's a powerful Magic the Gathering card search.
This is the Gatherer, which is Magic's own website, but 1,000 times better. This is essentially a archive of every single Magic the Gathering card ever printed, and it's way better than anything Wizards of the Coast has ever tried to make. So it's scryfall.com.
Except for the Gitrog monster.
The Gitrog monster is extremely based. Shout out to the artist who made the Gitrog monster eating Nico Ayers.
Yeah, we love you.
So you can do 2 things. If you know the card name that you want, so we know Arcades is what we want.
Dude, hopefully nobody looked up porn on my laptop. And by anybody, I mean me, because it's going to show up in the search bars.
So we hit Arcades. What it's going to do is it's going to pull up any card name with Arcades. You can put as many or as few characters as you want in the search bar. But that's not where Scryfall shines. Scryfall shines in the advanced search option, which is up here. You click on that, it's going to give you every sort of way to search for a card possible.
Man, is there any way to get out of light mode? Oh my gosh, no. I'm going to throw up.
That is brutal.
Oh my goodness.
Some people are just pussies when it comes to white. I don't go.
I don't know. Thanksgiving was really close. Should I make this joke?
So you can search by card name. You can search by text, which is any text in the card text box of any card. You can search types. So the nice thing about this is creature. It pulls up, and then let's say you don't want creatures. You hit this little button. Anything that is not a creature is going to show up now.
Any card in the history of Magic that's not a creature. So buckle up.
Right.
My Wi-Fi is going to take my router is going to get set on fire if he does that.
Colors are colors of the card itself. You can do exactly these colors. So let's say I want only Bant cards. I will type in white, blue, green, and then only these colors are going to show up.
So how does that work, Dakota? Is because it says exactly these colors, or does it mean including?
So it's exactly colors. So it's only Bant cards are going to show up. But now if I said including these colors, it'll show up anything blue. It'll show up anything white. It'll show up anything green. It'll show up anything
but if it was a red green, then it wouldn't show up because red is not. Okay, understood.
Correct.
So we want to go including these colors.
Yep. Actually, for me, that's not the best way to do it because there's certain cards that will show up that are actually outside of your commander's color identity or won't work in the deck if you don't do that right. So the best way to do it is this next line says commander, and then you can set
Kodiak, are you picking all this shit up?
This makes a lot more sense.
You keeping track of all this? There will be a test.
You can set your commander's color identity, which in ours it's Bant, so it's green, blue, white. And now no card that has a color identity outside of this color identity will show up. We don't even have to fucking worry about it.
So what I would like to do then, now that you've got that parameter set, let's go back to what we were doing with finding ramp. So how would we find a card that lets us ramp inside of these colors if they didn't know?
Text. So we want to go find a land card from our graveyard.
Ooh, easy, partner.
I am all from our library and put it on the
battlefield. We're a
battlefield.
month sloppy. So, yeah, y'all remember how we were going to do the Halloween episode? What the hell happened there?
What happened was the new Pokemon came out, and then I've been shiny hunting a Chimchar for 3 weeks. We haven't had time.
And I've been in a tractor because I'm a hick.
So now the nice thing is we don't have to be exact with the text line. So we're gonna search land. We're gonna search library. If I can spell, I'm hunting and pecking, so bear with me. And then we're going to search battlefield. So now this is going to find any card that has these 3 words in the text in any order.
And then we just go down to search with these options?
So then it's commander colors. And then Tower said that he wanted his 2 mana or less.
Ooh,
so now we can do mana cost, which
Can we make it 3 or less?
We could do, let's say we know that rampant growth is 1 green, 1 colorless, so we want to know if there's any others like that. We can add symbols that will let us find the specific mana costs of a card.
Oh, okay.
Or under stats, we can do mana value, power, toughness, loyalty. So we do mana value equals 2, but we want less than or equal to 3. So this is going to pull up any card, mana value 3 or less. We
in that text, in those colors.
Yep. We can even do legal in Commander if we wanted to.
Oh my goodness.
The farther lower you go is the least amount of... Then you're talking about things that are really narrowing your search that you probably don't need. You don't care what set it comes from. You don't care about the rarity. I don't even know what the criteria is. I have never used it.
No, let's not even think about that. You could go to artist.
You could do prices. So if you wanted to do
cool.
less than $1, because we're building a little bit of a budget deck, because Kodiak's new, you're not trying to spend $1,000 on this deck, are you, Kodiak?
No.
Yeah, so we're going to do any card less than $1. And then now we're going to come down here and we're going to search with these options.
And see what happens.
And now we got 99 cards that are going to pull up with includes the text land, library, battlefield. That's mana value 3 or less and is underneath $1. Now, this is where it kind of gets a little iffy with this website is it pulls up like Bant Panorama. That's not really ramp.
Yeah, it's not. It wouldn't be a bad include to the deck.
No, but Burnished Heart is ramped. Coiling Oracle. Cultivate right there is ramp. Where's like, let's go down farther to some of the more common known. Pulls up the Farhaven Elf. Grow from the Ash is good. There's Harrow.
Love Harrow.
And so now it's just pulling up any card that says that.
You'll have to narrow it down yourself
Yep.
and check through, but...
Where's like...
Natural Connection's a good ramp card.
There's your Rampant Growth, right?
Boom.
Where's like where's Nature's Lore?
I don't think Nature's Lore is under $1.
Oh, that's why it wasn't pulled up.
Nature's Lore is like $5, and it was more than that.
Yep. So now we know, like, oh, hey, I was looking for Nature's Lore. It's not going to work. But there's like Rampant Growth. Now, let's say we wanted it sorted out in a different way instead of by name. Let's say we wanted to really budget so we could do sort by price. Now it's going to show us I believe this is going to be cheapest print from each card, and I believe it's going to be ascending or. It's going to be in ascending order. So Grixis Panorama is going to be the cheapest.
Mm-hmm.
And now we can search it by all sorts of ways.
Cool.
So now this is by far the best way to search for cards, in my opinion.
Yeah. If you just don't have a big knowledge pool yourself, like I can list off a lot of really good options for certain categories just because of how long I've been playing. But if you're brand new, this is a great way for you to go and find stuff.
Like we're building a Defender deck, right, Kodiak? So we'll go back here to the colors that are available in our Commander. Now we just want anything that says Defender. Type in Defender, we hit search. Now we know we have 227 potential creatures we can put in this deck that synergize with our Commander. Hey, look, there's Arcades the boy himself.
And he doesn't have Defender, but he has Defender in his text. So keep that in mind. So
that's a basic overall view of Scryfall. It's very, very handy.
Mm-hmm.
The bad part about it, which is why I've been struggling building decks recently, is it's a lot of knowledge overflow. You're going to get overwhelmed with the amount of cards that exist in Magic. So the more you narrow down your searches to what you really want, the better time you're going to have.
Now, is that going to be very easy for somebody like me that doesn't have a computer readily available very often, that uses mobile more?
Scryfall will work on mobile. It's probably not as optimized as Architect is. But it's still very usable and very easy, and it's a lot better than the Gatherer.
Excellent. All right. So, I want to show you guys something along those lines back over here on the Architect page. Now, if you don't want to go to a different website, which I would recommend you do now that Dakota's shown you how, you can also...
Or you can just say, nah,
you can also
Dakota,
do...
I'm staying on Architect.
You can just stay on Architect. If you click Advanced, you have filters just like that right there. So if I wanted to find more Defenders or whatever, then you can go Creature, Wall, or type in Oracle Text. That just means the most updated official words on each card. Yep. Because sometimes they rewrite old cards because they were worded funky.
Not even old cards.
But let's go back to our ramp talk. So we went and we found cards like Cultivate. So now we just type in Cultivate. And it's going to show us a bunch of different versions. If that's too many for you, you can just click one set. Take it down to one. Cool. A cool 69 cents from Card Kingdom. Nice. We push plus. It has now been added. Now you'll notice we're starting to get more categories over here. We have our Commander category, Sorcery, Creature, and for the sake of just showing you things, I'm also going to put in a removal card right now. There are better removals, but this is the first thing that came to my head.
Raven form breaks the color pie.
It does kind of break the color pie, but it's a flavor win for what was going on in the lore and in Norse mythology. And let's get an instant in here.
Beast Within.
Oh, okay. We can do that too. Here, I'm going to add Sword Splashes.
I know I'm putting Beast Within.
Oh, yes. Just completely breaking the color pie, huh, Kodiak? He hasn't been playing for too long. He says, fuck that color pie. I don't remember asking. Boom. Baba booey. Okay, cool. So now we've got some more categories. Now, this can get a little clustered. Sometimes it's easy for people to understand what is in their deck just by having them in these raw categories, but I like to do something different.
Well, it's hard to keep track of the big three if all you're seeing is Raven form with your Cultivate. Now you got to keep a mental note that I have one removal, one ramp.
Right. So we're going to take and we're going to grab this Raven form and move it. Now, I'm going to drag it into the new category option. Or I could also click this tab and go to category, create new category, and rename it. I'm going to call this removal. Create. Boom. I now have a category named removal over here, and I can add anything else that's removal into that pile. And I can see how many removal spells I have. Or, let's try this one. I wonder if I can add category.
Yep.
Yeah, I could.
See, we're learning about Architect as we go too.
To tell the truth, I almost always use mobile until we would do the show. Then I would put it on the actual computer, the big boy computer.
I like to process information, so I like seeing multiple cards. I like to be able to see the whole thing, so I love doing it on a computer.
So, advanced search. Now, I want to find things that say draw a card. My commander is white, blue, and green. And my text, draw a card. Cool.
You don't even have to do that. Take out the A.
Oh, just go draw a card?
Draw a card, because you know what that's going to show anything that says draw a card, or anything that says draw multiple cards. Now, let's say we also wanted to include creatures, because, our commander cares about creature. We can add the type line creature. And now we know that any creature that says draw a card, which is going to synergize with our commander.
Can I add defender into this?
Can. And like I said, that's
there are some defenders that enter and they draw you a card, and so then with Arcades they'll get you more. Let's look at this. Oh, okay. I can't do it either. Carven Caryatid. So check this out, Kodiak. So you pay 3, you get a 2/5 defender. When it enters, draw a card. Cool. If you have your commander out, then he says, hey, a defender entered, have a card, partner. Caryatid says, I entered, have a card. Now you just drew 2 cards for 3 mana. Also, you're getting a 2/5 body, which for your purposes is a 5/5 body. For 3. You get a 5/5 body and 2 cards. Now, holy smokes.
Why don't you hit the back button for me real quick?
Just back right here?
Yep. So it's going to remember your searches. So if you scroll up, it's going to remember all that you typed in. Mm-hmm. Now let's say well, we're in a commander deck that cares about toughness. So we go down to go up. Where's it at? Stats.
I don't see it.
Top.
Oh, I'm here.
Yep.
Okay.
So we go stats. We change that to toughness
equal
we'll
to
do greater than, or equal or greater than equal to, and then we want anything with a butt bigger than 4.
Cool.
Now we hit enter search with these options. It's going to narrow down our results even further.
Wow. So
now
we
we
have
8 big butts that draw us cards.
Wow. Let's go. Cool. So now we can just remember these names. I wish we could drag them over.
I know, that's one cool
I think
thing.
they're. I can't remember if there was a website that was doing that with Architect, but we could just remember these cards. So I'm gonna remember Jungle Buried.
Good. Yeah. Because it's 3 mana, draw a card, and it gives you a 5/5 essentially.
Mm-hmm. I want to read this flump.
It's not. It's good.
Is it that
good?
good?
It's not that good.
It's 2 for a 4/4 flyer, and then if it's dealt damage, you and target opponent draw a card. That's funny.
Now, Kodiak, what do you see when you see that card and read that? What effects come into your mind? Like, how do you think you can make that card good?
I mean, to me, it just kind of seems like maybe later in game, They attack you with or even early in game, they attack you with a 1/1.
And you can both draw a card. You
You
could
both draw a card.
That's right. It's politics. You can say, hey, you got a Llanowar elves there.
Swing 'em
I
at
can
me.
use a card draw. You can use a card. Swing it at me. Now that you're in your good graces.
Mm-hmm.
Or, at the end of the day, it's a 4/4 for 2 mana with flying.
yeah, with your commander out, that's a 4/4 flyer.
That's a 4/4 flyer for 2 mana.
I want to jump in and say something about Arcades really quick. I know I do a lot of effing talking on this show, but I'm gonna do more.
Can you shut up?
Oh yeah, it's a podcast. Somebody get this guy to shut the fuck up. God. So
we started the podcast so that we would all just stay quiet on the mic for an hour.
yeah. Dakota, he's not moving. Somebody help him. He needs cock and ball torture stat.
My balls!
Mirror, mirror on the wall, give me torture, cock and ball. Okay, so Arcades is kind of a weird niche commander in that when EDH Rec, like the EDH Rec cast, looked at him, they found that he was not running a lot of conventional draw spells. He doesn't need to, even though he's in really good draw colors, being the blue, just for raw card draw, and the green for potentially broken card draw. White. And they found that he draws so many cards just from getting those defenders out. You don't really need a lot of card draw. Am I going to add some in? Absolutely, I would still like to add some in. But that's just a little thing that you should think about right now. That does not necessarily... we might add less draw into this deck than a usual deck. That might not reflect whatever you end up building at home if you build a different commander than Arcades.
And what you should do is you should not just add cards like Blue Sun Zenith to this deck, because does that synergize with the rest of your deck? But you know what else is a good card in this deck? A card that synergizes with creatures, drawing cards like Beast Whisperer.
Oh, yes, because we're already dropping so many creatures.
Right. That is called what we were looking for, redundancy. Redundancy is very important in building a deck.
And let's say Arcades
Kodiak.
has been killed twice already. He
That's
costs
8
6
mana.
on the second time, 8 now. I'm like, man, I might not want to cast it. Maybe it's easier just for me to drop this Beast Whisperer. Let's see if I can find a cheaper copy. Yeah, hardly. I don't want that one.
There should be one cheap copy, which is like
Yeah,
the media
it.
promo or whatever that you get.
I don't want to do the media promo. Fuck that media promo.
Even then, you're saving a lot of money on a lot of your other cards, so you're going to be able to spend a couple bucks.
So
the nice
I'm going to
thing
grab
is
this.
defenders have been consistently undervalued in Magic the Gathering because they're defenders. They don't attack.
So this can be a super cheap deck.
You
Actually,
can
this
make this super budget.
Beast Whisperer we just had, I believe, is the most expensive card so
it's
far.
even more expensive than our commander, yeah.
And he is well worth every penny. He draws you a lot of cards. So let's go, new category. Draw. Well, I did not click that. Draw.
That is what's nice about Arcades is he changes the value of a card. Flumph is a card that maybe goes in random white decks. If you're on a budget, you pulled it from a pack, and that's it. But now in this deck, that's a 4/4 flyer. It changes the way a card is valued.
Absolutely. Look at that. Can you imagine beating somebody's face in with a 4-cent, 25 if you're from Card Kingdom, 5/5 flashing defender for 2
Dude,
in blue?
You know what that is? That's a 2-mana combat trick.
Yeah, it is.
What? I'm attacking you with my Edgar Markov. Huh.
Oh, let me just flash in my turtle.
Riptide Turtle, you die.
Does that kill Edgar Markov
Yeah.
on his first swing? How big is he?
Well, he turns into a 5/5 because he gives himself a +1/+1 counter. But then
Easy.
you're paying 2 mana to kill a creature and draw a card.
He trips and falls into the turtle.
Yeah.
That's the move. So, anyways, now we have our ramp, our card draw, and our removal section over here. So we've taken care of our big 3. Now we want to focus on things that can really make the deck shine. So the thing about Arcades, and we might not run you through every one of them, but he really is just a one-trick pony. He wants you to play defenders and swing with them. So let's help him do that. Now, you'll know... When we did our previous searches, when I put in things like Defender and such, a lot of different cards pulled up. One of the cards I noticed earlier that pulled up was Assault Formation. I won't go through the steps of going back through here, but when you start typing in things that you like for your commander or things that you want to synergize with on Scryfall, you'll find those cards, and I saw Assault Formation. So let's go ahead and come back here and type in that, and we'll take a look at it. Boom, Assault Formation. This comes out of Khans of Tarkir. It's got a couple of different printings. It's not really that expensive. So, it's just a 2-mana enchantment. Each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. But wait a minute, Kodiak. Doesn't Arcades already do that?
Yes, sir, he does.
But
What happens if I source Tapasha as your commander? You ain't killing me. You ain't killing my Edgar Markov with that Riptide Turtle no more.
Yep, you throw that out there.
now you have a little bit more redundancy. Boom.
That's a fun word.
Redundant effect. And now what was the other one? High Alert,
High Alert,
think, is the name of the blue one that came out of like Guilds of Ravnica.
Right.
Or Ravnica Allegiance. So this is also in our colors. Each creature you control sends combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Creatures you control can attack as though they didn't have Defender. And you can pay for untap target creature. You can also use that politically because it says target, not one of your target creatures. I'm going to go ahead and save since we haven't added a couple things. Now I'm going to take these guys, and what I like to do is when I have things like this that immediately impact my game, I like to put them in a section, my favorite section, titled Bangers.
Bangers!
And I'm just going to grab my Assault Formation and add it right there as well. Great.
And see, for me, certainly goes in the bangers section. I would almost even make it its own category because the effect is so needed in this type of
But
deck.
they're so powerful.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
But now, Tyler, what happens if, like, I don't know any other cards that could work like that? And I'm sure that there's cards that I don't know that I can't just search for.
that's true. And there's already a lot of data from a lot of people that know a lot more than I do. There's
How do
one
we
more
get there?
website we want to shout out, and you probably already know it. This is called EDH Rec. EDH Rec is an amazing way to see the nanny and Family Matters, I guess. Get out of here. We're recording a show.
Google was cringe enough
Google!
to say, I don't want to have to look at HBO Max.
Oh, for goodness
especially
sakes.
since they lost South Park.
EDH Rec is a fantastic website. Now, there
It
is
is-
a problem, though.
It is the website for Commander.
It is the website, and I highly recommend you tune into the EDH Recast. It's another podcast. I say another podcast like we're somehow on the level or like even deserve to be associated with them.
Oh, we're better than them.
We're not better
We're
than the
better
EDH
than-
Recast.
Listen, they
Their-
may have
their
production
quality-
values from the command zone, but we have production values from inside Tower's living room.
That's true, but they have Dana Roach, and
We
he's
also-
awesome.
Dude,
We are
pass
also
me
not
that
in the
roach.
living room.
Pass me that,
we are in the
Dana.
dining room.
Oh, we are in the dining room. Yeah,
Do you see a door that separates the rooms?
I see a doorway.
But is there a door?
my house used to be a duplex.
It is one room.
I hit it with a hammer and made 2 rooms. Anyways, let's get back on topic. Now that we've gone full retard for a second here. So, I typed in Arcades the Strategist earlier into the search bar from EDH Rec, and this is his page he brought up. Now, look, EDH Recast, the podcast I was talking about, has done a cool video on them. So it'll recommend content on the internet about these guys, about the commanders and the cards you search. If it has them, it shows the average mana curve of the deck, which is sometimes important, sometimes
Do you
not.
see how it's kind of like a little bell right there?
It's called the bell curve.
That is cringe. You want exponential only.
That's how you know you play fun commander, folks. Buckle up. Anyways,
like to win
if I
on
wanted
turn
to have recommendations from, I guess I should explain. EDH Rec pulls data from a lot of deck building websites. They don't pull from Tapped Out. I know they pull from Architect.
Yep.
So if we make this Architect deck, then our data is coming to EDH Rec, and people can even potentially see that deck from those results.
It pulls every unique deck.
Oh, that's right.
In the odds chance that we end up building the same exact deck that some random Joe Schmo from Montana built, it will not show up.
Yeah, don't play Magic with people from Montana. Anyways, Montana is incredibly based. But let's go ahead and scroll down a little bit. It's going to show us a lot of different categories for powerful cards that EDH Rec thinks could go into the deck. So we've got some lands. We've got this cool new, Defender, Flying Vigilance. Unnatural Growth. I don't know if I would put this in there. That's a lot of green pips to be putting in a Bant deck. Anyways, what we're gonna, I had a little existential crisis there for a second. So I'm gonna come down here to this section. This is called High Synergy Cards. Now this is gonna show really good cards that synergize with your commander. So Overgrown Battlements, you pay 2, you get an 0/4 add a green for each creature with Defender you control. See, I don't know if I would have come up with that when I went to Scryfall. Wall of Denial is one of my favorite cards.
It's the best wall ever printed.
Wall of Denial is?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think
It's an 8/8 with flying and shroud.
It is an 8/8 Defender Flying Shroud, but it's not Sunscape Familiar, which ramps you in these colors. Sunscape Familiar was made for Arcades, the strategist.
Yeah, but it's not better than Wall of Denial.
Why is Tetsuko Umezawa here? Look at that. Why? She's not a defender. She's not. Wait, hold on now. Take a look at all of these defenders. 04, 08, 03, 03, 04, 03, 04. Creatures you control with power or toughness 1 or less can't be blocked.
That is a card that goes in the banger section.
How about you put Tetsuko Umezawa in there, get a Wall of Denial in, draw a card for having your Wall of Denial enter, and then attack with an 8/8 unblockable Flying Shroud. Boy, let me tell you what. So this is what I'm saying, is EDH Rec can show you some potentially really, really good cards that people are adding to their decks.
Oh, like Flumph.
Like Flumph, or like Slaughter the Strong, or like Wall of Frost.
Slaughter the Strong's based.
Yeah, it's a cool card. The only bad thing about it is it shows the dinosaur dying, and we're Team Dino, not Team Vampire. So
that's a human.
Oh, they reprinted. Okay, I was going to talk about this because this is one of the better cards in this deck is Tower Defense.
Yes.
So a useless 2-mana instant that says creatures you control get +0/+5 and gain reach until the end of the turn turns into it's better than an overrun almost. I mean, it doesn't give trample.
2 mana.
But a 2-mana instant combat trick to give all your creatures +5/+5. That's where EDH Rec can shine. Finding you stuff like that. And you can just keep going down the list. Crashing Drawbridge, Jeskai Barricade. Lots of fun stuff you can find, and it'll even show you like the creatures section. You want to see the best card in an Arcades the Sabbath deck? Actually, it's Shield Sphere. Excuse me. It is a 0-cost 0/6 defender wall, and it gets if it ever gets assigned as a blocker, then you put a 0/1 counter on it. I'm losing my mind. It gets a -0/-1. You're never going to block with it. It is a free 6/6 creature that you get to draw a card for nothing.
Yep.
Holy smokes. Anyways, I'm kind of rambling, but there's a lot of fun stuff you can do. Now, I want to give you the warning that I give to people whenever I show them EDH Rec. If you just go through and copy all of the cool cards from this deck, then you will have a deck, and it will work probably.
It'll probably work pretty great.
It'll probably work pretty good, but
it won't be your deck.
But it's not really your deck. Now, I understand that there's only so many combinations of cards you can make to make a deck, and an Arcades the Strategist deck is going to look really similar to pretty much anybody else's because he's so railroaded into being that defender aggro strategy. But if you were to make a different deck and copy all the cards off of the EDH Rec page, you might end up not having fun. Because now this is everybody else's Arcades the Strategist deck. Maybe you want to build the Arcades the Strategist no card more than 50 cents deck, which is entirely doable and very powerful.
Yep.
That was basically what my Arcades deck did, and it fucked with a capital F. But
that is why I've almost exclusively stopped using EDH Rec, is because I found myself like, oh, this card's good, it goes in there. This card's good, it goes in there. Well, then it left me, it wasn't a challenge then. Yeah, I didn't have to think about the deck I was building.
Yep.
And then it was boring.
Yeah, it definitely has the potential to be boring.
If you want to just copy and paste deck list, just buy precons. Because that solves your problem.
Yep. And you know, I don't want to tell you how to live your life because it's your money and it's your time that you're spending to play this game. So if that's what really gets you inspired and makes you want to go out and play, then I don't have a problem with you doing it. But just keep it in the back of your head that you might burn yourself out if you just copy every EDH Rec page. So personally, a lot of the fun I have in Commander is the self-expression of building a deck that does what I want it to do that I found all on my own. I've had a lot of decks that do that, and I've had a lot of decks that are quite similar to other decks.
But you know, realistically, Kodiak could be like, yo, man, thanks for showing me this website. I'm just going to build my deck off of it. If that's what, at the end of the day, makes you happy as a Magic player, who are we to tell you you're wrong? except that we have a podcast and you don't.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we definitely bought the $40 mic, and now we are more important than you.
Search for Tomorrow I think is a very underrated.
What are you talking? Where is that? Search for Tomorrow. Pay 3. Search your library for a basic land. Put it on the battlefield. Shuffle. Suspend 2. Ooh, that could be good on turn 1.
Oh, it's the best thing on turn 1.
Yeah, I'm thinking Arbor Elf for
on turn 3. You
1.
get a free land.
Best thing on turn 1 is a Soul Ring.
Well, yeah, but second best thing in my opinion is Search for Tomorrow.
Yeah, but that's most of the deck now. We're not going to go through and build every single card in this deck. Now we've shown the tools of what to do and how to sort them into sections. So to recap all of this, find your defender. Find out what your defender wants you to do. Or find your commander. Find out what your commander wants you to do. Put things in the deck that do that, but don't neglect your big 3. Try to get about 10 ramp, 10 removal, and 10 card draw spells, and then adjust those numbers up and down after playing a couple games. Your deck is probably not going to work amazing right after the first game.
Probably not. If you're Dakota, who is a major Timmy and says, I can't cut this 8-mana card, just put West Lamp in your deck. It'll work out.
For an Arcades deck, you can actually skimp on your draw section a little bit. So it actually ends up working out for you really well because you're just drawing so many cards from having defenders in your deck. So that kind of breaks the rule, but it probably won't in whatever deck you decide to build.
The best thing a commander could have is a draw engine in the command zone.
But that makes him a lightning rod for removal because everybody's going to look at him and say, hey, instant way to nerf and castrate this guy is get that guy off of the battlefield so he can't do anything.
Yep.
So
To be fair, though, the best part about that is he's running blue.
Counter spells, baby.
Here we go. See, Kodiak, now you're thinking with your dipstick. So he knows that blue loves to run counter spells. So if he's worried about having his strategy messed with, he can go and run a bunch of counter spells. So we would just go in here to this. Let's do it on Architect really quick. Advanced Oracle Text. Counter target spell. And I will just click search right here. It's going to show me all cards that say counter target spell. Boom, absorb. Definitely goes in the deck. It's cheap. Counter target spell, you gain 3 life. I'm going to go 1 set so that I can just see the names of each. Arcane Denial.
My favorite
Great counter spell. Broken Concentration. Cancel. There are better cards than Cancel anymore, but it's cheap. 25 cents. I'm not ready to update. Piss off. Lots of different things. But see, you were like, I know that counters are super powerful, and it can help me defend my commander. So you can just get in that advanced search, type in the words you think appear on that card, and go find what you need.
And like Tyler was saying, your first couple games, you may not have that many counter spells in your deck, and you're like, man, I can't find my Swiftfoot Boots, I can't find my Lightning Greaves fast enough. Arcades just keeps getting killed. Mm-hmm. Now hey, I need to put some counter spells in there. Get some protection.
Think about, and whenever you're playing a game, Kodiak, if you have a lot of things coming into your hand and you're like, man, I hate this card, I don't know why this is here, I could definitely use a such and such and such and such. Start remembering which cards are that piss you off in your hand and remember them for when it's time to take cards out and then add different things in. That way you see those cards more often to get your strategy going. But anyway, I think that's pretty much most of the information we want to go through.
Did that make sense, Kodiak?
Yeah,
Did you remember?
That was a fucking whirlwind.
Are you ready for the test? We told you there would be a test. What is the capital of Kazakhstan?
Waganda.
He knows the way.
My bro does. Dude,
Shout
I love
out to the Knuckles too.
Yeah, shout out to Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Now we get more Uganda Knuckles meme. We must perform the national anthem.
We are coming full circle.
Bruh. It's like a reoccurring meme. But anyways, Kodiak, do you have any like random questions? Anything that's not super clear or anything you feel like you want to say? What questions can we answer that a new-ish Magic player might ask?
As far as like making a maybe board.
The maybe board. What about it?
what's going to be the best way to go about finding where your cuts are
Gotcha.
and what you're really going to want to keep, especially when they're a deck like this. You're very limited on your options that you're going to be able to have. What's going to be your best options in figuring out what to cut, what to keep?
So one nice thing about Architect is you can add in a I don't what do you call these things?
Category.
A
A category. Yeah, I am retarded. I went to college. You can add categories that don't affect the total cards in your deck. So if you wanted to put in a maybe board, you can certainly do that.
I could grab this Riptide Turtle and put it in this section called maybe board right
And
there.
then
And now my total number, my deck size is 13. I grab the Riptide Turtle. I put it back into the creature pile.
It's back in 14.
Boom.
So how I do that is once I have, let's say I have put all the cards in the deck I want, and I have 110 cards. For the cards that have the most in the category, so if my removal has 14 cards in there, I'm a little bit removal heavy in my opinion, I'll cut some of them cards. If I just cannot figure out how to do it, I look at two things, and it all has to do on the cost. Either the mana cost or the cost of the card.
You also need to consider how powerful a card is in and amongst its own category. If I try to look at this Riptide Turtle and compare it to all the cards in my deck, it's going to be overwhelming. But I certainly can go to my defender section or whatever. These are all defenders. But I could look at these cards and decide what is the weakest card out of these four. Now, usually I would have like 20 or maybe more. In an Arcades, you want to be
at least probably 30 defenders.
Fill that sucker. So I've got a Riptide Turtle that's a 5/5 for 2 effectively. I've got a 6/6 for 4 that draws me an extra card. I've got this one with potential political gain. This one draws me cards. Out of all of these, I would say the Riptide Turtles is the weakest. So if I had to cut cards, I would compare this Riptide Turtle to the rest of the things in the category, or I would compare this Swords to Plowshares to the rest of the things in this category, and I would cut accordingly. For example, I think Raven Form is weaker than Beast Within or Swords to Plowshare, so I can cut it.
And see, that's an interesting take, because see, I was opposite of Tyler on the Riptide Turtle. To me, Jungle Barrier is the weakest card because of its mana cost. It's 4 mana to draw a card. There's going to be better ways to do it and probably cheaper ways to do it. But that's where it comes down to, what do you want your deck to do?
And helps it make it your deck. Because even though Dakota and I have been playing for a long time, and we're arguably pretty good players, we make a lot of different choices when we deck build. A lot of things that we disagree on. The biggest thing that we disagree on is that Dakota is a filthy Heat Miser gang and not Chad Snow Miser gang.
All I'm saying is Snow Miser has a pretty big nose and a funny little hat. That's pretty suspicious.
You have a point, but Snow Miser gang for life. I'm Mr. Snow Miser. I'm high on crack. Dunna, dunna.
I'm Mr. Big Chungus.
I'm Mr. Keck.
One of the nice things you can do to aid you in the cost of the card, or to sort the cost of the card or the mana cost, is if you go over here and you go view and sort, you can sort them. Right now they're sorted by alphabetical. You can sort them by CMC. You can sort them by price. And now it's telling you, oh, Carving Caryatid is 35 cents compared to Jungle Barrier's 25 cents. Maybe, man, you ain't got that dime. Cut that, then you know Carving Caryatid can go.
So that's a great way, because I know one of the most frustrating things about deck building is you make a huge list, and all of a sudden you have like 150 cards.
Yep,
and you got to cut 50 cards?
I had been working on an Umbris deck for since it got spoiled, and I just finished it because I started out with 140 cards.
Oh, and I have one more thing I want to bring up before we go, unless Kodiak has any other questions.
No, that's pretty much it.
Cool. So, as far as the lands go, we preach a lot about tailor the land base to your budget here at Base DDH. What I want to recommend to you as far as Tyler, Dakota, Kodiak, how many lands do I put in my deck? I would say start at around 36 and mix and match your colors depending on what colors are in your deck. A great way to find that out is go to stats.
Oh yeah, this is the best part too.
Yep. And for example, we don't have any lands, so there's nothing inside right here, but we've got a pretty even spread of we've got what? You want to add some lands in there? I can do that.
Can see it.
Okay.
So they can see it.
Let's do that. We would just go here and go plains. Oh, no. I modified the filters. See how nothing's showing up? If I push reset, it'll get rid of all of the advanced searches I just did. And now I'll push search again, now that this is still in the bar. Now it's bringing me plains. I'm going to go all set so I don't have to use these weird-ass lands. Come on. Just give me a regular-ass plains. Boom. I'm going to do the same for island. This will take me just one moment.
That unset islands those unset lands are looking really good.
Yeah, they're pretty sweet.
They're the best way to spend $10 on a land.
Come on, forest. F it. Okay, so now if I go over to stats, now our inside filled up. We can see how many lands produce what kind of color. So we only have 3 lands in the deck right now, but usually you would have like 36. Dakota might disagree.
Never more than 35, never less than 35.
Okay, Dakota, I'm going to need you to actually shut the fuck up. Because I'm going to teach them how to properly build a deck, not you running 4 lands in your Geshath deck. Okay,
it works sometimes.
It does work sometimes. Sometimes.
I went on.
Sometimes asteroids hit planets. And then kill the dinosaurs. So, right now I can see we have a little bit of an imbalance. Our deck has 7 blue pips at once. It has 9 green pips at once. And it only has 5 white pips. So what I would do is I would start cutting plains until I had an amount that more reflected this little pie chart. And that'll help you to where you get mana screwed less of the time. As for the actual amount of lands, I seriously recommend starting with like 36. And if it feels like it's more hungry, don't skimp on the lands. And don't just cut a land every time. Dakota, you motherfucker. I will actually end you. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
I have an 8 mana cost dinosaur. What the fuck else am I supposed to cut?
Put more lands in so you can cast your dinosaur.
I don't have to. Geshath does it for me.
You don't even need card draw in that deck. You just need, you're like, oh, I need card draw and I don't need lands. No, you need lands and you need to get Geshath on the battlefield.
Card draw to get to my lands.
No, you don't. You need to ramp into Geshath so that you can then flip dinosaurs off the top. But that's not the point of this deck right now. The point of this deck right now is to start with about 36 lands, make a lot of them basics, lean heavily on basics until you understand what it's like to have a tapped land come in and have it hurt. Because the tap lands can bite you in the butt a lot.
The nice thing on the stats, too, is if you put in like a dual land, it'll show each of those productions from that land.
True. So try for about 36, and then if you feel flooded with them after a couple, and I don't mean play one game and then, I got to take out 5 lands. No, play a couple games and try it, because who knows how the RNG falls after you shuffle.
Perfect example is my Zada deck. That deck has a lot of 1 and 2 costs.
Yep.
So I don't really run a lot of lands. But then I noticed, hey, I kind of get mana screwed a lot, so I added in a couple lands. And then I found out I kept getting mana flooded, so I cut a couple lands. And now I'm at that perfect sweet balance of 32 lands, 33 lands that I need for Zod.
And even if you had the perfect knowledge on how many lands and what lands to put in your deck, you can still get mana screwed. So try a couple of games before you make that mistake.
And a ramp does not replace just hitting your land drops.
For sure. But anyways, that's most of the information we've gone through. I hope that we've been useful and not completely asinine and just through the roof on our bullshit. I want to... Are we actually gonna make this into a deck?
Oh.
We could just turn Kodiak loose on it. That'd be fucking dope. And then come back and visit it later and see what he did.
Subscribe to our Patreon to see the
We
full
have no
deck.
Patreon.
They don't know that.
It's
gonna be pretty easy to find out.
If there is some asshole out there named Based EDH Patreon, it's not fucking us.
For all 12 of our subscribers.
Nobody's gonna... Why would anybody give us money?
Because we're cool.
We're not that cool. We don't have
I
titties.
don't even hardly give myself money.
He's got a good point there, and we work at the same place. I want to, before we go, I want to say one thing about something I've been wanting to do. I've kind of run this by Dakota a couple times, I don't know how crazy he is about it or if it would turn out good. I think he has his doubts, but I think it has the potential to be fun. I want to do a recurring bit on the show where we put the names of real and fake characters alike into a bag. We draw them and then see who can make the coolest made-up commander card for that creature. So, like, Winston Churchill. You would make a Winston Churchill card and see how you could best reflect him within the confines of Magic. And it's got to be fun and not, like, super broken. Because anybody can just say, oh, yeah, this is my card called George Washington. When he enters the battlefield, I win the game. Well, yeah, that's not
now
fun.
We're playing Yu-Gi-Oh.
Now we're playing Yu-Gi-Oh. Now we're playing Quick Draw. This is my problem solver right here.
No, I think that's a really good idea. I think that would be a lot of fun.
I would love to see. So we only have like 4 subscribers. One of them's Dylan from the fucking LGS. Let's go, Dylan. And most of the people subscribed to this fucking show are in my house right now, which is incredibly based.
I think everybody besides the one.
Hi, Kate. Hi. Kate will be on the show at some point. So I am going to like poll my friends and see what we can do to like slap some names of fake and real characters. If anybody out there is actually effing listening, you should put down your character suggestions in the comments to let me know like what a character, like I don't even care what it's from. Like it could be fucking Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan. I'll try to build that.
It could be Pikachu.
It could be a Pikachu. I will try to make a Pikachu card.
Eren Yeager, mono red.
Dude, I feel like Eren Yeager is a white red that flips over, is a flip card into a giant, and he becomes mono red after that, and he flips over into the Attack Titan. I think that'd be.
I
dope.
only watch good shows, so I have no idea what they're talking
You
about.
only watch good shows. Fuck out of here, boy.
Get out of his house.
Fuck you right now. That show almost made me cry,
You are a guest on this podcast. You can't tell me to leave.
but I can. You done fucked up. You done fucked up now. Anyways, this has been the Base EDH podcast with your boy Tyler
Your boy Dakota.
and.
Kodiak.
Thank you
for-
so much for coming, for putting up with our bullshit.
And thank you for showing them the beginning steps of how to build a Kodiak.
Absolutely. Don't forget, start working out, stop masturbating, go to church.
Porn destroys gray matter.
Yeah, porn kills love. Let's go, Terry Crews. You're a king and I love you.
Jesus loves you.
Yeah, and go to church.
Write letters to Ted Kaczynski. He gets lonely.
God bless you, Dakota. And we will see you next time.